What's up? It's Marco, Sage of Soccer, and today we're doing a preview of the upcoming Wales and Ukraine game. Winner gets to go to the World Cup, gets to be in the group with England, Iran, and the USA team. And yeah, what did we talk about the Welsh team in a preview? I did a preview for the Ukraine-Scotland game, so I'm not going to talk too much about the Ukrainian team. I've already done that. But just going over their game against Scotland a little bit, they dominated, won 3-1, clearly the better team. So much more energy and just technically a level above them. They were able to dominate the ball, made their chances count, and outside the keeper, I feel like everybody played very well. I think we can really expect them to score. Their offense has been on fire. Zinchenko, man, such a talented player there. And their defense, I'm not too sold on, especially with their goalkeeper. He really had a bit of a nightmare. And not the best there. I'm not too sold on their defense. And Wales does have Gareth Bale. So I think it's likely, same against Scotland, like they did against Scotland. I think they're likely to score and concede in this upcoming game. I really don't see it being like a 0-0 game that goes to penalties, but it feels like the games that we feel like they're going to be like that always do go to penalties. So, but just doing a preview, I don't think that's where a Ukrainian team will be able to keep a clean sheet. I think they're going to be able to find a goal. It's going to be tough to beat this Wales team, but let's talk about the Wales team itself. So I expect them to go on a 3-5-2. This Welsh team, they've been in pretty good form. They've only lost one game since the Euros, and it was the Poland game that they basically threw. They rested all their players. And in that time, they've scored goals consistently. They've only been shut out against Estonia. And defensively, though, they've only kept one clean sheet, but they were able to hold Belgium to a 1-1 draw. And I think now they're at full strength. They've got everybody that they want. I wouldn't call the defense a weakness. I could easily see this team being able to get a 1-0 win, especially if Ukraine aren't able to find like a goal through Yarmolenko. I don't really trust their striker yet, even though he pulled out a goal. I could see it being a 1-0 win for Wales. Going over their actual team, again, the 3-5-2 I mentioned. In goal, you have either Danny Ward or Wayne Hennessy. I don't know who will start, and I really don't think it makes a difference. Both are backups in the Premier League. Both have been inconsistent. Danny Ward for Wales, Wayne Hennessy just in general. I don't think either of them make enough saves to keep. I don't think either of them have the ability to keep a team in a game, I guess. I would go with Danny Ward personally. I've seen enough Wayne Hennessy howlers. I really like Danny Ward when he was at Huddersfield. But, that was 5 years ago. So, I don't think it matters. The defense for the Wales team is surprisingly solid. 3 Champions League players, technically. You have Ben Davies, who's been doing very well under Antonio Conte at Tottenham. He's made that left center back role his own, and he's going to be playing the same role at Wales, and I think he does very well at this position. And at this level of competition, I think he's about the best player that you can ask for. Just really solid player, expect him to do very well. At what's likely going to be the center back role, you have Joe Rodon, another Tottenham player. I feel like he's done well in glimpses at Tottenham. Whenever you see him play, you're like, oh, this guy should play more, but it's he's not, and he's probably not for a reason. Again, I really feel like he's a decent player. I think a lot of promoted sides, a lot of teams that are in the Premier League want to get him on loan or even permanently. I think he's a Premier League level player, but probably not Tottenham standard. But still, good enough player, I'd say. Then you have Ethan Ampadu, who's a guy that I really like. I've really liked him for a while. Back when his hair was even crazier than mine is now. But I think he's a really nice center back. I really like his ability on the ball. He was doing pretty well at Venezia. They did get relegated, but you could see this guy's talent. I think he's been getting even better. He's been playing in the center mid position a lot. He can also play right back, right wing back, the 8, the 6, center back, probably defensive left back. He can do just about anything. And he's a player that I really like. It's just one of those guys that I rate. I think he's going to be a good player. He might even get a chance with Chelsea this year. It's going to be tough to say. I mean, I'd expect Conor Gallagher to get back to the team, but if maybe they want to get rid of some players, if the team gets freshened up, a utility player like him could end up staying in that Chelsea team, and I'd really like to see him there because he's a solid player. At fullbacks, you've got Nico Williams and Connor Roberts. Nico Williams is a guy who, kind of like Ampadu, I rate, but only to a certain extent. He'd had a very good season with Fulham, helping them get promoted, but he was playing right back for Fulham, where he's likely to be playing a left wing back role here, unless they put on Reece Norton Davis to play in the left wing back role. Again, I think he's a good player, but probably won't be able to do as much offensively, I don't think he's really going to be playing that inverted. I think he's more there for his technical ability, so don't expect him to do too much, but a solid player. Connor Roberts just got relegated with Burnley. He'll be the right wing back most likely. Serviceable player, but like good championship level player. Hasn't really excelled in the Premier League yet, but I think he's solid enough. Not like a weakness or anything like that. This Ukraine team does have goals in them, so I'm expecting this Wales side to concede, especially with goalkeepers being really inconsistent. I could see a 1-0 win, like I mentioned, but it's not the strongest defense, so I am expecting them to concede. The midfield, Harry Wilson, Aaron Ramsey, Joe Allen. Harry Wilson's coming off a great season with Nico Williams at Fulham, where he's one of the best players in the championship. Definitely Premier League level, or it seems like that at least. I think that he's able to translate that to a higher level. I liked him at least. It was either a cup game, might have been preseason, but I have liked him at Liverpool. I think he's a solid player. And I think he's able to carry that form over to this Wales game. And with the Ukraine defense, it's not perfect. I'd really expect him to do well. Then you have Aaron Ramsey and Joe Allen still on the side. Ramsey definitely not the player that he once was, but he can still do a job. Though I'd say he's worse than Malinovsky or Zinchenko at this point in his career. Joe Allen, he can still do a job. I don't think he's really regressed, but I don't think he was ever really that good. Even when he was playing for Liverpool, he was the Welsh Xavi meme for a reason. He's only so good. Then up top, you got Daniel James, Gareth Bale. James, amazing athlete. Can get in behind defenses. Not the best end product, but game-breaking speed. Amazing player there. And Gareth Bale, he can still make magic happen. Amazing player. One of the all-time greats. And I think he still has a bit left in him. And Kiefer Moore, another big option off the bench. Huge player, can change games. I think that the Ukraine defense will struggle to deal with him. Dykes was actually playing really well for Scotland, when they were finding him. So I think that Kiefer Moore could have a big impact on the game, especially if he comes in off the bench. So for the actual game, I really can't see either team keeping a clean sheet. Both keepers have had mistakes, and then both attacks have a lot of quality. Wales is coming in fresh. The Ukraine team hasn't really been playing much. A couple of players have, Zinchenko, Yarmolenko, but they have a good amount of guys from Shakhtar, from Dynamo Kiev, who just haven't been playing for obvious reasons. And on top of that, Wales does have home field advantage. I've said before that I think this Wales team is better. They were the team that I was expecting to qualify, and I really do still feel like that. Even though Ukraine does have an advantage in the midfield, and it could easily go their way, I think that Wales will come up with a win 2-1. Maybe it'll end up being extra time, and Ukraine ends up just running out of gas. But I feel like that's the most likely result. I really like this Welsh team. I think they can do a good job, but man, if Ukraine are able to make it, it's an amazing story, and they will definitely deserve it. They played great against Scotland, but again, I think the Wales team has it in them. Well, let me know what you think. I think it's the Wales team, but it could go either way. That's all I'll talk about right now. See ya.